All righty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mouse House Plus episode 34. I'm Hank,
And I'm John.
and we're your hosts. We're covering What If Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands.
Oh, man, what an episode.
Oh, I was like, man, maybe he'd just be heartless.
Well, oh, jeez. Is this going to be nothing but bad jokes?
Pretty much.
I mean, I'll be honest. I thought that when this started off, because reading that, I thought that, okay, so somehow he's going to be the Iron Man.
Yes.
Thank
you.
That's what I thought what we were alluding to.
Thank you. Now I don't feel so bad. Because I was like, oh, I get it afterwards.
I mean, they're usually clever like that, and that would make you feel like for example, he's in a car accident, and instead of his hands getting messed up, he has this shrapnel, coming towards his heart, and then I guess I don't know how Stark would like come into play, but maybe but Stark has already been Iron Man by now, so that means that he could have shown up and be like, "Hey, I know how to solve this."
Right, I'm with you on that. That's what I was thinking, but I'm so glad that it didn't go that direction. But this one was weird too.
This one did exactly what you've been asking for it to do.
Oh man! So we'll get into it, shall we?
This is what happens when you get what you want.
Got everything you wanted. Are you happy? Having a Thanos moment. Stephen Strange picks up Christine, and they talk about his speech. They crash. Christine dies. He goes on his journey. The Ancient One died, and he still faces off with Dormammu. Now, when he's sulking and Wong comes in there or something, because he was like, I needed the little sorcerer's room. That was funny.
Yep.
But he was drowning his sorrows, and he this is where it gets kind of confusing, because he uses the time stone to travel back to that night. But it turns out the same. He tries over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But there's a different one happening. Did you know that at this time, or did you not know till the reveal?
Not until the reveal.
Okay, me neither. Because I was like, what is going on? This is so dark. What did you think when he was doing it all over and over again?
I mean, okay, so if any of you know that, I am a Doctor Who fan, I've watched Doctor Who, I know that this is a pinnacle point, and it's one of those, it's like an immovable object. You can't change certain things because he never becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, and basically everything unravels. So him going over and over again, that, I mean, it was just basically heartbreak, because I mean, I know deep down, like, he's not going to be able to break her free of that, and if he does, it's going to be cataclysmic, which turns out to be true. But yeah, it was like it just was getting harder and harder, and then that last one when he shows up and he's just like, why can't we be together, and you're like, holy crap, he's breaking the fourth wall. and then there's the Ancient One. Where'd that come from? Is it okay? So, and then that's my question: Fig Newton of his imagination, or was this really the Ancient One, or was it a time displaced Ancient One,
or was it the TVA, Miss Minutes, pretending to be the Ancient One?
Well, I mean, if the end of this one was just going to be, then I think Miss Minutes would have been like, we're fine where we're at because we're at the end of time.
Right. So when the Ancient One shows up, Christine's death is revealed to be an absolute point in time. So these are fixed points in which nothing you do is ever going to resolve this. But this version of, now she says she attempts to stop him, but he hides in time. So this is where she says she has splintered it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's done a big no-no because, and it's not ever revealed, but she's basically creating two timelines in the same timeline, which is a huge no-no. So yes, had the TVA existed in this universe, they should be there. Like, I mean, their little thing would have been like, it's just gone straight up. But yeah, that was what threw me off, because I'm like, okay, like we're jumping back and forth to see what could have been and what's going on, not realizing that, hey, this is actually like all taking place at the same time. So she's pulling on the dark dimension to do this, and we already know that through the dark dimension, it's magic or power that is completely undescribed, undefined, and it's going to be their MacGuffin if they ever use it again, because they could always be like, oh, we can't do this. But what if we use the dark dimension? We could just say it was that.
Correct.
Because she just uses the dark dimension to stay, keep herself, alive. All right. How does that work?
Right.
And so that means that the dark dimension, the realm itself, is more of just like a power hub to do whatever it is that she wants to do.
Okay.
That's how I'm looking at this. But yes, she attacks him, and see, this part threw me off. She attacks him, and then he just falls. And I was like, did she do that or did he do that? I mean, I didn't understand exactly what happened there until he gets up and he's like walking around. But also, his like flame, like his magic, like how it's coming out in that weird like flame kind of like appearance. That was it's starting to get kind of creepy, the more we went through that.
Right. Most certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So at this library, he's looking for sorcerer Cagliostro to break an absolute point in time. Now, the guy he interacts with says his name is O'Bane, but I heard through the grapevine that is a name that Cagliostro has gone by in the comics.
Oh, so there you go. There could be an Easter egg right there. So, I mean, it would make sense if it was his book, but I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't have turned around and been like, no, actually, he did. He gave him that warning there at the end on his deathbed. So, yeah,
yes, he did, because he has done it before.
But why? He's done it before, and the world hasn't just been basically consumed like it does in the end. And how is he still around?
That's
true. Unless he's in like, it's like like the mirror dimension. Now it's like a little pocket dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's possible that library is in a pocket dimension. See,
that's a good point.
That gets weird whenever we're dealing with Doctor Strange, because it's kind of like all the things that you couldn't do, he does, and he gets away with it because he can always just say it's magic. So whenever we're dealing with other locations, if it's something that, in this case, just like he said, he had done it, or at least he found a way to do it. It's probably somewhere else. It's some other dimension that's just the library itself.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, why would you keep a book of something like that? Okay, yeah, I did it, and almost tore the universe apart. Why would you keep that around? I don't see that as a very good. I was like, put that in the adult section.
Well, it is. I mean, this place is hidden really well, and these are all the lost books.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he's advertising, "Hey, come here and get these books."
Yeah, but he'd have to know that that someone with great power would, eventually show up, and he shows up with the time stone on him,
right?
And that would be like, I'm not helping you.
In the time manipulation book, he's able to summon that Hydra that Captain Carter will eventually fight.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just go with that. But it thumps him. That was so funny that he got his butt kicked. But he's smart. I love how they made him so intelligent, because now he's like, okay, we'll start small. And he starts small so he could take their power. So he gets that gnome.
Yeah,
that was creepy.
Yeah.
And then that bug, nice cape. I was like, oh, he is like, this is a Benedict Cumberbatch that is just maniacal.
Yeah.
The raven, the big bird, the dragon.
Yep.
People were speculating on which dragon is that, the Midgard, or was there a Midgard serpent in this one? And
I mean, it doesn't really matter. He's devouring anything he can get his hands on. And as we find out, it's like, what? It's like 2 decades or something like that. He's basically just sitting there consuming things.
Oh, man, it's creepy. They show you how much time is passing. It was so creepy. And I thought we had a Phoenix sighting. Did you think that initially?
No.
When that one came out and people are saying could be like some sort of nightmare or some something else, but I was like, is that Phoenix?
No, it can't be.
I know it
Phoenix is a nexus of all realities. So the Phoenix is also a nexus point or a nexus being. So that's not necessarily something that he could really consume, because it's like the Phoenix is almost like the embodiment of the quantum realm. I mean, it's the easiest way that I could put it.
Right.
And it's not exactly something you can digest, because it kills most of the hosts. Most of the hosts can't handle it. So
what if he absorbed it and then he burped?
Oh,
he just belches. Feathers come out. No.
I don't think that they would do that, because it's like they're trying to be really sneaky about doing the X-Men or doing any mutants. So, and to toss out the Phoenix like that, that's like one of their biggest giveaways. So I don't think that that's what they'd want to do that yet. So that's another way that I would think that that's not the Phoenix.
Then he grabs a bat and then a stag, which I think had some relevant meaning, but I can't remember what. And then the Midgard serpent is what people were speculating. There were some other ones on there too, but it was going by so fast. I was just like, okay, it must not be totally important, but we could speculate, but whatever.
While we're talking, I'll look it up and see if someone's got a list somewhere.
Cool. Now, this was a creepy part, because in this one, the Watcher interjects again, and he's like, I could warn him, but he wouldn't listen. And I was like, wow, like the Watcher is actually tempted to say something. That's how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of this whole foray, he goes after that Hydra again. And this time he has the power to take it down. Calamari is on the menu tonight.
Yeah, so that was kind of, but see that one right there kind of threw me off a little bit, because like he's absorbing the entire creature. He just cut off its limbs and it's absorbing the limbs. The creature's still there.
Right. That's what I thought was weird. I was like, well, if matter doesn't matter, then why doesn't he absorb it all?
Yeah.
Now this is where Bang was dying, and Strange offers to help, but he declines. He says Dr. Strange is only half a man, and we would find out he's not only, he's not the only Strange in this universe. That threw me for a loop when they did that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what is he talking about? He's only half a man, but I get it, once they spelled it out, because they go back to that scene with Wong and he chooses a different path.
Yeah, he puts the Agamotto down, and like, I'll go have your tea with you. Yep.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And it gave me hope for a minute. And I was like, yay. And then I was like, oh no, this is us. Cannon fodder. Now, the Agent One's psychic perception tells us that she split the timeline using dark magic. We already covered. The universe will be destroyed. And Wong is disappearing, but he gives Dr. Strange a Vashante protection spell as the other Strange casts a spell to bring him to him. And from this part on, I call him Creepy Strange. So that's how I differentiate the Stranges. One is Creepy Strange.
I think that in this case, he was Supreme Strange is what they're calling him.
Hey, good luck with that. I'm calling him Creepy Strange. So Creepy Strange is trying to convince Current Strange to save Christine. And your marbles are long gone, man. Dude, I was crying. I'm sorry. That's not funny, but it is.
Well, hold on. And then we had that moment there. Let me rewind back right before we did this, or like whenever he has absorbed all this stuff, and you see like him shadowed and like all the different parts of the creatures, which we will eventually see again. And then, yeah, like, I mean, you have no idea what's in his head now. If he's absorbing all of these like planar creatures, then how could he be sane at all? Like, there's no way. I mean, if it's affecting him, it's clearly affecting him. It's physically affecting him. And if it's physically doing that, then yeah, everything in his head is messed up too. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those, like, I just wonder, like, if in the background someone just shot him in the head, and would he even caught that, Where's the Punisher at when we need him?
Oh, that'd have been great. Bam. What
he
if?
he just drives by and boom, and shoots me like, you can thank me later.
All right. They battle it out as Wong's protection spell keeps getting punched off him and knocked off him and stuff. That was cool. I love those graphics, how they did that.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show like how powerful this Strange is. That he has all these protection spells, and he's shedding them. They're like falling off like hair.
And Good Strange is transported to a fake Christine, and Evil Strange, Creepy Strange, starts to absorb Good Strange. You know what I mean? Like, that was the worst thing ever after that battle when he fully absorbs him in. You're just like, no, this can't be true.
This was just one of those things where you're like, huh? I was like, they're going to end on a down note. They're doing an Empire Strikes Back on us. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, and in the back, and there's like a little voice in the back of my head is like, nah, they won't. They'll, Good Strange will pop out of this.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. But the logical part of me was like, nope, we are beeline down this path of complete annihilation.
Yes. Then he turns into a monster.
Yeah.
And he's gonna try to undo things, but it all goes sideways. And
it works. He does bring her back, but the problem is that
it's not.
Yeah, he has already set everything in motion where he can't stop absorbing things. At least to me, this is what it looks like. He is absorbing basically the fact, all of reality, and he brings her back just for him to basically like absorb her.
I didn't take it that way, I guess. Okay.
Well, I mean, but what's going on with everything as it's like the black, like as everyone's kind of like fading and like, floating away? What is this representing?
Because the Ancient One said that he would destroy the entire fabric of reality if he tried to undo that absolute point.
Yeah, but the only thing I'm getting at is he undoes an absolute point just to find out that he is going to end up killing her himself.
Right. And he kills the entire universe himself.
In the process. Yes. So it's one of those things where it was a no-win scenario. It didn't matter if he saved her or not. She is going to die. Regardless if you break the laws of all reality, she will end up dying.
Most certainly. And he's begging the Watcher to help. But the Watcher says, nah.
No, not just a nah. He comes in and starts scolding him. Which, by the way, I'm like, wow, look at the Watcher breaking the fourth wall there. Woo, jeez. It's like that's how fed up he is with this place. He's just like, no, you deserve this. Oh, I can't help you because you know how messing with time works.
That was one epic part of the episode. I will say that. So the universe is pretty much finito, except for that little cube, that little cocoon, whatever he made around them. And Christine asks, "What did you do?" And then disappears. I mean, this is dark. I kept waiting for like maybe there's an after credits where everything pops back or something.
No, and he is the last one holding the last bit of the reality together. Yes. So if anything, this is where the TVA were to show up in his little space, being like, "Nah, we're gonna take you now and do our own thing with you."
Right.
But man, it was again. This is what you asked for, Hank. You wanted something that was completely off the rails, and this one was off the rails.
I asked for original writing. I didn't ask for a dark story that defies the hero's journey.
Well, no, it's not
necessarily what I asked for.
It's not necessarily.
It does defy the hero's journey.
Well, no, this is showing that this is that old Trump that absolute power corrupts absolutely. So it just showing that if this was just a little bit different, which is what happened, that Strange would have became one of the most the most powerful being in all of reality, and then ends up just basically destroying everything. So this, to me, this episode is laying the footwork for Spider-Man and for Multiverse of Madness to show that even Doctor Strange as mighty as he is, makes bad decisions sometimes. This is that's what to me, that's what this is. They're showing that, see, he could be a bad guy. He doesn't necessarily going to make every single decision a good decision. And look to the extent that he could go. So because of that, now you have, where we're at now with the upcoming movies, and we already know that Strange is going to mess around with Peter's reality, which is going to end up bringing in other Spider-Man from other universes. And I think this is more along the lines of he's not the perfect good guy that everyone would expect him to be.
Interesting. Well, I think we're going to get into ratings now, shall we?
Sure. You go first this time.
Yes, I did not like the downer and the darkness of the episode. I thought they did a good job of telling a unique story, which was fine, but this was really over the top bleak, and it's just not a story you can get behind. You can't, not very many people point to stories that have no future, no hope, and go, "Oh, this was such a great movie. You should watch it." So you can be depressed and, take a bunch of sedatives before you go to bed. So it was kind of a mishmash for me, and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, I'm going to give it, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 because I'm having flashbacks. Let's see how many anime fans we have out there. So this is just reminding me of End of Evangelions, where basically the end of everything just kind of happens, and you see that in the end there's nothing. we're all just soup. That's basically it. And in this case, we're all just evaporated. So yeah, Debbie Downer hardcore. So I'm giving it a 6.
Okay. Before we get to feedback, we got several pieces of feedback. I did want to make note that if you're watching us on YouTube, you can check it out. But if you're not, I'll put a link in the show notes. But I have a second store, and everything is almost 40% off at this time. So it's mostly podcast and YouTube type shirts. I smash subscribe, now what, and stuff, because people on those videos are always smash the subscribe button, bro. But I believe the TPE network store is on sale too. Let me check. Sorry about that. Just make sure before I get myself in trouble. Yes, everything on tpenetwork.com's store is on sale as well, almost 40% off. So it's a good time to grab some cool gear. I should have worn my Glorious Purpose shirt this week, but I didn't. But just be sure to check out both stores. I'll put the links in the show notes. So there's a lot of funny designs in there that people are loving. So thank you to everybody who's been buying them. I greatly appreciate that. All right, it is time to get into some feedback. We got a voicemail message from Rick in Wisconsin.
Hello, Hank and John. This is Rick from Wisconsin sending some feedback about What If this week. I was never a big fan of Doctor Strange, but I did watch the movie and I thought the movie was well done. So I wonder where this episode was going to go. At the beginning, when I saw his repeated attempts to change the timeline, I kind of felt it wasn't going to go in a good direction. I didn't think we'd get the happy ending. And in a way, this is kind of the darkest episode we've seen. I think it's interesting that in this episode, he actually interacts with the Watcher. I remember in the Fantastic Four comics, when the Watcher first became a character, there was some interaction and the whole idea that he can't change things. He's just an observer. I liked how that played out in this episode, even though, it led to that bad ending. It shows maybe it's a little morality tale in a way of the obsession to try to do something that you shouldn't do, despite everyone warning you that you shouldn't be doing it. So I've really enjoyed the series so far. I think the previous episode was my favorite so far and was the best episode as far as really telling us a different story, giving us a different angle. And, I also really enjoy Samuel L. Jackson's voice, so that added a lot to that one. Thanks for doing the show. Talk to you later.
Rick, thank you so much for sending that in. I think that's easily the darkest episode. Would you agree, John?
Oh, it is the darkest episode. I don't think there is it might be. I mean, what else out there? And there's nothing out there. Every single thing, including Infinity War, that's like really the only thing that would be the other Debbie Downer, and that still ended with half of everyone still being alive. So it wasn't a complete loss like this.
Even the Punisher was like a fairy tale story compared to this. So the Watcher intervening. Yes, I used to read the comics a long, long time ago, and I did like when the Watcher would say something or interject, some tidbits or whatnot. Such it's was really well done, really well voice acted between the two characters because one's desperate and the other one's like, you knew better.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Utah. So he I remember like one of the times that he showed up in like the what was it? It was the Onslaught series back in the 90s, and like they're wrapping up towards the end, and it's like him and Apocalypse standing on a hill because Apocalypse knows exactly who he is. He's interacted with them and he knows he's not gonna do anything. He's just here to watch. But it's like there's been so many times whenever like he's been disciplined a lot because he does sometimes kind of like poked his nose in and does some things. But you're right. I mean, he's a Nexus being. He can see everything that's going on in all these different worlds, and I would agree with him. I mean, he would just. It's almost like you're dealing with your kids, guys. Why are you doing this? He's like you're screwing everything up. But oh man, what a downer.
And then I agree with Rick as well when he said this is a morality tale. I don't know about you, John, but I'll speak from personal experience, not to keep this a downer episode. Sorry. But, there's just been pivotal moments in my life that I'm like, oh my gosh, now they have the technology that could have done this and kept this person alive or this and that and stuff. And, I kind of got into that mindset when I watched this episode. And I had to snap myself back out of it. I don't know if anybody else out there was doing that, not to, get too personal, but we all have those things and situations in life where you're just like, what if this would have played out differently? Or what if that would have happened differently and stuff? What if? Literally.
Well, I mean, to me, this was more of a set up for the movies. I mean, that's what this what if is in the first place. Loki happens. We have the multiverse. Now we're exploring the multiverse a little bit, and then we're going to run into ahead of it in the next movie. But I feel that this was a very good job of showing that Doctor Strange is not perfect, and that in the end he can also make a bad decision and go down a terrible path. And I think that that's what more along the lines this what if was about, not so much that we saw another world. I mean, because the reality doesn't even exist anymore, so it's not even like they could even tap that. So, but this is more of a just looking at the players involved that are about to come up in the next movies.
Well, let's move on to our next piece of feedback. This one is from Elizabeth. Hi, Hank and John. Well, that was trippy and depressing. Sorry. If the Watcher couldn't stop the end of the universe, where does he go from here? John, you want to take that one?
He's not really there. It's hard to explain. Like he can be there, and then if he gets destroyed, he just kind of like wakes up where he's stationed, and he's typically stationed in the 616 universe. So this could be, I mean, I don't know if that's the case because as far as I know, there's only one Utat. And so this might be the same one from the 616 universe that we're seeing in the MCU.
Right.
So in that case, it doesn't matter. He's a Nexus being. He exists in all realities. It just so happens in this case, he has mental connection to all of his versions. So if a version of him dies, it doesn't affect him at all because again, he is there to be a record keeper, and that's it.
Right. Elizabeth goes on to say, I was impressed that this episode was mostly Benedict Cumberbatch. Maybe doing this episode was written into his multiverse of madness contract.
I just think it's worked into everyone's contract, honestly.
I do too. I think they are trying to. Oh, I have to eat some crow on the Dave Bautista comment last week too. I think they are trying to get all the main actors on all of these, but I'm sure they didn't hurt the deal when they said, we want you to do X amount of movies plus lend your voice. You know what I mean? That just drives the contract price up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even lending your voice. You're still playing the character. He's still Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, all of that. So the only thing he's doing is helping promote himself even more.
Right. And make more and more money. So I hope this episode is an emotional outlier in the series. Thanks, Elizabeth. I agree. I don't want too many of these heavy ones, which I get if they keep doing it in this manner to show you how crazy it was. But even the last episode where Hulk explodes and all the Avengers, get killed, that was a toughie. I ain't gonna lie. That was a tough episode for me.
Yeah, but what made it all better was when you got to the end, you got to see Loki messing around with Pym, and that makes it feel all better. See,
right.
And you still have Captain Marvel, and you still have Captain America, and Fury's still there. So I mean, in this case, there was nothing except for a pocket cocoon that Strange has built, and as soon as he tires, he doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Scary.
Yeah.
All right. We have one last email. Hi, Hank and John. Just wanted to give quick feedback and shout out for your What If podcasts. As with Loki, they've been great Friday night companion pieces to the episodes from Wednesday. So far, the first 3 episodes leave open future stories, which we may see in season 2. As far as the latest episode, we want to know if there was someone or something in that car which kept crashing into Steven's car and killing Christine. Can we stop this? This is from Tom and Maggie, but can we stop right there for a second?
Yes.
What do you think about that? Or do you just think it is the universe itself saying, nope, this is a fixed point, so no matter what happens, something's going to happen?
I think that that's the answer. It's a fixed point. There's nothing you could do. Fixed points you can't change them because no matter what, it's going to end up happening. And in this case, he forcibly caused it to not happen, which then end up happening anyway. But in the process, he already destroyed the entire universe to do that. So yeah, no, fixed point. If you can't, it's almost like Final Destination.
Yes, good one.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you were supposed to die there and you didn't somehow, then death's going to come back and get you in some way or form because you were supposed to die. Now, in this case, there's a specific reason why she was supposed to die, because in this universe, he has to end up being, the Sorcerer Supreme, but the catalyst has to be her since it's not his hands. And the entire point is it happened. You can't do anything about it. Honestly, to me, what I would have done in this situation if I were him was at least just go back maybe a little bit further and spend time with her.
Right.
And not try and get her out of that. After so if you tried to, and the first 2 or 3 times it failed, or as many times he did, because he did it like 20, 30 some odd times. And I mean, you get the freaking picture, man. If she's not going to survive every single thing, he's like, I didn't pick her up, or what is it? It's either apartment or her hospital burnt down.
Yes.
I mean, that right there, I was like, dude, just give up. There's nothing you can do. Nothing, because you didn't even have anything to do with this physically. You didn't approach her. You just basically left her out in the curb, and she still dies. So it doesn't matter. You're not going to win. So in that case, find another way of being able to try and get some time with her. And see, and to me, I almost would feel like on the anniversary of her death, he would go back in time and spend a different birthday with her, or Christmas or something.
Right. Something would have made more sense than this.
Yeah, something where he can actually spend time with her instead of trying to break the laws of all reality.
Right. So whether it was that car or another car or a semi truck or whatever, it was going to happen.
Well, yeah, in this case, I mean, they got rear-ended most of the time in this. So, I mean, that's
why they're thinking that there was something up with that car.
No, I just think that it was it's destined. There's nothing that they could do. It's like, everyone's like, the future isn't written. It's, always in flux. But in some cases, certain things have to stay put. But I mean, we're also talking about time travel, which means we're going back in time. And anything that's already happened, if it caused enough of a ripple to be able to completely change everything, that if you were to undo that and everything unravels, then whatever that point is considered a fixed point. Right. So, like, for example, like if you went back and killed Hitler's technically a fixed point. It would be a good idea to kill Hitler, but in some cases, I mean, the atomic bomb, wouldn't have been created. Of course, I don't know if that's exactly the best, example, but I'm just trying to say that, certain things happen because of that, and hopefully for the better in the outcome. But if something had happened to him right away, then a lot of the stuff leading up to, all the way through, there may not have been a war. Right now, we may be sitting on massive overpopulation of the entire planet, and a different dictator rose up and took over the world. It's who knows what could have happened.
Right.
But that's more along the line, the point of the fixed point in reality. So it's one of those things that has to happen in that reality to make the future, or at least, in Doctor Strange's point of view, his current timeline, correct for him. So, geez.
All right, let's wrap her up.
Yeah, time travel always gets weird.
Maggie and Tom go on to say, we'll be going back to previous Mouse House Plus podcast. In the meantime, we are also listening to the Bad Batch podcast.
Very good choice.
Also enjoying that with the commentators' speculation, knowing how the season's plotline and characters end up. Thank you for checking that out. Again,
side note about that, I heard that they were going to be possibly bringing in one of the Bad Batch in as a live character in the next season of a Mandalorian.
Oh, that'd be outstanding. Let's do it. Again, thanks for listening, and we're grateful for discovering this treasure trove with our Marvel and Star Wars streaming binge watching, Tom and Maggie. So, P.S., the TPE store is great for birthday presents, especially for Loki fans. Just saying. Yay!
Yay!
Thank you so much for that. That is awesome.
Yep. And again, they are my shipmates in my Star Trek club that I'm in. So they are such good people.
That is awesome. We appreciate it. So great stuff. Great stuff. John, any final thoughts before we wrap her on up?
No, I think we need to wrap this up because
we've gone a little long.
I know, and we're also just beating a dead horse here. I don't really think there's anything more that we can say except for the fact that this was a depressing episode.
It was a depressing episode. I was like, second rewatch? No, I'll just pick and choose. I just pick and choose some spots, and that was it. I was like, I couldn't sit through that.
I mean, really, at this point, if most of that episode didn't burn into your head, then something's wrong with you, because you don't need to watch it again. This wasn't one of those things where like, oh my God, so much stuff was happening. I've got to go back and see this scene. No, we know what was going to, the outcome was terrible. Leading to it was terrible. And they're just, the bad guys won, but not all the bad guys. Only one bad guy won. And in the end, he realized he's a bad guy, and it doesn't matter. He's already destroyed everything. So
yeah. Okay.
Where's Dr. Doom at when I need him?
All right. That's going to do it for this edition of Mouse House Plus, brought to you by TPEnetwork.com. For John, I'm Hank. Until next time, we're signing off.